Hi class, I was hoping to give you some tips for week 1's topic selection worksheet. I would always suggest that you start by reading assignment directions very carefully. You'll notice that there is a topic selection worksheet. You're going to need to click on that to download it and then open it up. And here it is. So the first thing you have to do, there's 4 parts, parts A through D. The first part, you have to select your topic. You read through. Okay, and the way you select your topic is you're going to go back to the assignment directions and you're going to click on the discipline-specific resources for rhetoric and research. Okay, these are not the topics. These are each a link to different topics. Okay, so you can click on any of these topics. I suggest you click on them all and you look and see what topics are listed underneath them. So for instance, under education, you'll see there's bilingual education, high stakes testing, Common Core, Pledge of Allegiance, online education, teacher performance pay. Okay, those are the ones to choose from. Okay, and if you want to look at other ones, you don't have to go back to the other screen. You can look at the different disciplines. You can click on them and find the different topics under each of the disciplines here. Okay, they are bolded. Those are the topics to choose from. You do not have to use the topic from the discipline that you're studying. You can use any of the topics under any of the disciplines. Okay, so to go back to the worksheet, please note that there are word totals requirements to keep in mind when you're writing. Okay, so make sure you review those, but what's your selected topic? Tell me in a complete sentence what your topic is right here from one of the bolded topics underneath those disciplines. Okay, why is the topic appropriate for an argument paper? I want you to think about when you respond to this, what makes this topic debatable? Maybe you could explain what some of the different sides are that are valid sides to this topic. Okay, part B. Part B, you're going to explain your position on the topic. Okay, give us your stance. What is your stance on the topic? Are you pro whatever it is? Are you against whatever it is? Is it more nuanced than that? Explain what your position is. Okay, the next one, again, notice there's word count requirements. The next question here, you're going to give us 3 specific reasons that you have that position. So I'm going to come up with a silly example here, but say my position on my topic has to do with pizza, which is definitely not a choice, but just for argument's sake, for an illustrative sake for you to understand. Say I say pizza is the most nutritious food on the planet. I want to have 3 reasons that I think that. It has protein if you have meat on it. It has, reason 2 would be the cheese provides calcium. Reason 3 could be whatever a 3rd reason is, but basically you want to have 3 specific reasons of why you have that position. Okay, you're going to want to read through and answer question 3 as well. Notice there's a word count requirement. Okay, part C, drafting your thesis statement. Okay, many of you will have taken English 100, so you'll have practice with the thesis statement. But what I want you to remember is you're going to want to have 3 ingredients to this thesis statement. You're going to want to make sure you mention your topic, you mention your stance on the topic, and that you bring up those 3 key points of support, the reasons that you believe that your stance is correct. Okay, so if my topic is most nutritional food in the world, okay, and my stance is that pizza is the most nutritional food in the world, I would say pizza is the most nutritional food in the world because it provides protein, calcium, and quick energy. Okay, and each one of those key elements is going to end up being a body paragraph topic that I'll flesh out later. Some things to keep in mind about thesis statements. Write it in the 3rd person. You don't put I believe or I think. Okay, make sure it's a single sentence. You want it to be brief. Ideally, it's 25 words or less. Okay, and it should be a single statement. It should not be a question. You're not going to keep your reader guessing. You're going to explain what your stance is and what your reasons of support for that stance are directly. Okay, part D of the assignment you're going to answer these questions with a completely different article than the ones that were alluded to in the topic lists from parts A through C. So I want to show you, you can see this is a live link and you want to click on where it says article list. Hopefully this will work for me. And you're going to get a list that comes up. Okay, and this is just for part D. You're never going to be using this information after this assignment, whereas the topic that you choose for parts A through C is the topic that's going to stick with you for the rest of the class, okay, for all of the assignments. But for part D, it's a totally different article, different topic. Okay, so you're going to pick one of these 3 articles to answer part D. So it's going to ask you to provide an APA formatted reference of the article. Okay, couple resources to keep in mind. You can use, if you look back to the assignment directions, there's the reference and citation generator. So if you want to use that, that's great. Okay, if we open one of these articles, a lot of times, not all the times, but a lot of times on database articles, you can actually find on the article a place where it explains, it gives you the citation. So let's see if we can find that on this one. Citation tools. Let's click on it and see if they have it. Hey, look here, we can choose. Remember, we're choosing APA, so I'm going to go to APA, and it's going to provide the citation for me. I don't even have to enter anything. Okay, so always look for a citation link somewhere on articles, and like I said, you can cut and paste that into the worksheet. Okay, let's get back to that worksheet. Okay, you want to indicate what the author's claim is. What is he or she arguing? What's his stance or her stance on the topic, and explain that here. And then finally, you're going to explain what the evidence that the author provides for that stance would be here. Okay, and is it a quote from an expert? Is it evidence? Is it statistics from a study? What is that evidence? You're going to list that here. Okay, make sure the last step is always to review things for errors. You could use spell check and grammar check, and that's a really great way to start. Or if you want to use some of the CWE tools, grammar tools, that would be great too, but make sure you review your paper for errors before you hand it in. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks so much.